fam. Hope everybody's doing well. Had a good day, interesting day. Let's talk about DR, and we'll talk about something we saw yesterday. We saw it again today, which is this range expansion model. Where each of the DR instances is higher than the other. Again, there's opportunities here, and these are regular DR plays we could have taken here. In last night on the Asian range, same thing for what happened with London, and then we'll focus on kind of where we are with New York here. But I want to just show you guys that keep an eye on the bigger picture. Something I used to not do. I used to just look at one at a time, but you start looking at the bigger picture, you can kind of understand where the market is trying to head, and it gives you a little bit more confidence of some of your plays, right? So if we look at what happened this morning, yesterday we had CPI with a huge spike. Today we had PPI with the producer price index, and we had a 830. We had a quick shoot up, and then so we took out I call it intraday or intra session buy side liquidity, and then we came right back around and took out a sell side liquidity. So there was kind of like no direction here, except for that we kind of came back up and started moving back up again because we had that range expansion model to the upside, right? So just an interesting data point here. Did not trade that. I don't trade the PPI, CPI, 830 news. I wait. And so that's what we could have done today. We could have waited. And so now we have our DR set up. Only had about 11-point range today. And other thing to notice, we started talking about, remember we said, once the DR starts setting up, you can kind of see directionally where price is going and kind of come up with a bias around that. Didn't have that today. We just kind of had almost a consolidation move during DR. Now, one thing that's interesting is that first candle, right, that 930 candle, we end up coming way down here, right, to 45.21, and then moving back up. So we had we set really low here, but if you notice where the body of the candle closed, 5 points higher. So if this range in here is where that body is. So this was our RDR, which was again, if you look at this compared to this huge gap down here, it would have been kind of hard for us to get down to confirm low, because we had all the action was up here. So that's why I say it's not something where we saw a consistent price moving in one direction. It just kind of went down, came up, and it just kind of stagnated there in that for that hour. So all right, so coming back out of that, nothing to do here today, right? So in the morning, did not do anything here. Did not take any advanced trades. Did not take any kind of trades that I wouldn't normally have taken, because I just did not feel comfortable. Did not have anything that would tell me take a chance here because it might work out, right? So there are opportunities, but they're not ones that I want to take. All right, so we actually did confirm right around noon, which was interesting, because noon always has some action with it. We confirmed around noon. We retraced on the next candle. Let me make this a little bigger so we can kind of see it a little better. All right, confirmed at noon, retraced on the next candle. I took a trade right here. I was on actually the IDR off of this candle, and then so this one came up and it did not hit my 5. It was 40. What did I get that? 45, 31, 75, and this was 36. It did not make it to 75, if I remember correctly. So it started to come back down, and again, being a little cautious and kind of seeing what happened earlier, I just go ahead and cut that trade. So I use it as a scalp versus like a true 5-point, 10-point trade. Just a scalp. Then I got about 3 points off of that. So running 2 contracts, though, that's the other reason why I closed that trade, because running 3 contracts, each point, each 4 ticks or 1 point is really $100. So if you're running 2 contracts, that's a couple $100 for each point. So that's just it's not anything to sneeze at if you're trying to build an account. All right. So anyway, so price comes back down, and we had this consolidation here. Now price did come down here again, right? So If I'm looking at this from a perspective of just wanting to do a straight DR trade, I could have taken this trade here or here for it to go back up. But one of the things I like to see is for the I like to see the candle be moving in the direction I want it to go. So in this case, it didn't, and I could have taken the trade here because that's 45.32 or 45.31. And when it came all the way down here, 28, so it's only 3 points. So I probably, I'm not sure. All right, let me not say that because, again, using two contracts, that's 3 points. So that's actually that would have wiped out whatever gain I had over here. So I might have taken it and letting it run all the way down. But again, I wasn't, I just didn't feel the need to take that trade, so I didn't take it. Again, as I'm being more aggressive, I'm also being more cautious. So it's a little, it's like an oxymoron, but it's actually the truth, right? When I'm being more cautious, I was being, I was just taking the trades as they come. But being more aggressive, more contracts on, taking trades in different locations, being a little more cautious about when I actually do take these trades, right? So here's where it got interesting, and here's the trade of the day for me. And so I got in one of my groups. I was like, okay, look, we're coming down here. We're testing the 0.5 fib. Now we didn't go below it. We just touched it, right? And so in the past, in my normal cautious strategy, I would not have taken that trade because I want price to mirror, I want price to come down, and then pick me up on the way back up. In this case, what I ended up doing was I put a trade. So I saw price come down, right? It comes down, it touches that, and I didn't jump in right there. I actually went and put my order right here on 45.30. Okay, so I gave myself like a point and a quarter for it to actually move up. And so I said, okay, 45.30, nice round number, I like it. Two contracts on, so then price just had a nice move up. The first contract, I sold one contract at 40, right up here when it got to 10 points. All right, so 45.40, and then I left the other one. I left it kind of a runner, kind of with a 5-point stop already kind of in play, right? So I already had a stop, right? I already had 5 points booked here, so I just let that one sit there at 5 points. I did get stopped out here. I left it there because I was in this, again, you see, let's bring ICT in, have this fair value gap right here, all right? And so my thought was we wouldn't go, we wouldn't come all the way down to inside the fair value gap. We would just kind of touch it and release. Didn't happen in this case. If I would, let me see, price got down to like 40, 35, 75. So yeah, but that's where I got stopped out. I'm not going to worry about it. Now, what I didn't do, which again, this is part of growth, is if I was thinking about this, I'm in a fair value gap, I would actually put an order on top of this fair value gap for price to go back up. Once it went down here, right, either it's going to keep going down or it's going to come back up and keep going higher, right? But again, fair value gap, this is bullish. So in theory, it should go this way. So hindsight, I would have put a trade here and let that trade run up, and you can kind of see what happened after that. That was a 37, 47, 50, 14, 15 point trade almost. So that would have been a really nice way to kind of end the day. But didn't take that trade. Happy with what I did here. This was 15 points I'm sitting on over here with the 10, and then coming back and taking the 5 out. Now once you get here, this is now 340, and I think we mentioned it the other day about the market on close and what tends to happen. You kind of see what happened here, right? We've been moving up all day, and all of a sudden, I think it's the second day in a row this happened, where that market on close, we had to rebalance. And so that rebalance means that price had to come back down. I'm sure if I looked at the MOC number, it was somewhere in the billions in the positive realm, so it has to come back down some, right? So that's kind of how that day went. That 350, yeah, that's why I try to get out of my trades like at 3:30, because I don't want to deal with this stuff over here, because you never know what's going to happen until it actually happens. So anyway, want to keep it short tonight. That's the story for today. Right now, just a preview for what's happening now. Nothing. All right. So let's see, at 7:30 we'll see if how DR sets up, and see if we want to look at anything with there. But right now it's just kind of market's kind of flat, so which is fine. All right, but that's it. Tomorrow is Friday. Let's see. I don't know what we have tomorrow. I don't know if we have anything tomorrow news wise. But again, I'll look at that a little bit later and figure that out. Other than that, again, hope everybody had a great day. And as we always say, we've been saying lately, love on your family. You never know when you're not going to have them to love on, and so take advantage of it while you can. All right. Have a blessed night, and we will talk to you later.